Haven't you always wished that Beauty and the Beast was 60% more Lisa Frankenstein? What do you mean, no?
I'm looking at you.
Look!
From this angle, I can see your back and your face simultaneously. That's how much I'm looking at you.
I'm a mess!
No, you're not!
I'm a disaster!
Oh.
Your Monster stars Melissa Barrera and Dan Stevens' stunt double from Beauty and the Beast. Like, he really looks like he was, like, they took the Beast and then they kind of halfway went to melting him. If you're still finding that dude all sexy, like this monster sexy, it's time to close the werewolf porn for a couple of weeks, ladies. Melissa is playing an actor who gets cancer and then her boyfriend dumps her because he can't be bothered looking after her. And this is after he wrote the new leading role in his latest play for her and then got her to help him a bunch with it. When they say at the beginning this is a true-ish story, do they mean that they read about it on like an Am I the Asshole Reddit thing? Laura's life is falling apart even though her cancer is getting better. She auditions for her boyfriend's new play and then doesn't get the leading role, but she becomes the understudy because the new lead is now banging her ex-boyfriend. But she doesn't really understand that he's a super asshole. Anyway, Melissa goes home, she meets the monster who has been living in the house since she was a child. But he's a furry, sexy dude type thing, so it's okay that he's there. She doesn't call the police. It does feel like modern cinema is just telling women, hey, you don't need men because you could just fuck the bear. So he's been there since she was a child, like just in the house. He's the monster under her bed. I'm sorry, how old is he? It doesn't matter because you see, in furry and monster films, you could be as much of an asshole as you want, you'll still get the girl. Logic. Anyway, despite him initially wanting her to get out and her putting up no resistance because she is incredibly weak-willed for most of the film, they decide to just cohabit because he's a monster and she's riddled with cancer. A match made in heaven? I don't know what. Melissa Barrera is incredible. In everything. I'm trying hard to think of the film that she stars in where she's not covered in blood at some point, but that's not important. She is nuts in this because she gets to show off both her incredible scream queen talent for just leading a horror film into the stars and singing. I do blame The Shape of Water for introducing the idea that you can get away with this into cinema and being so successful that everyone's like, awesome, let's go for it. And this is kind of the quieter, deadpan comedy version of Lisa Frankenstein. It is very strange that those two films have both come out this year. But at the same time, not really. Mixing the good for her movement with the, monster porn movement and the furry movement. Standing that in there in this one. Yeah, that's just a recipe for a weird level of success. And I do think it's going to be successful, and I do think it deserves to be. I think it's a fun film. I wouldn't call it any more than that. I wouldn't recommend it any more than on the level of it being a fun film. I don't think it is an incredible romance film. I don't think it's an incredible comedy film. It's not a horror film. It's not even a little bit. It's not even pretending to be. I think it's a pretty reasonable, good for her film. It is a pretty reasonable furry film, if that's your, go for it. And it is a pretty reasonable kind of monster porn film. It doesn't fully commit to anything, though. It's a little bit of a lot of things, and that's fine. But it doesn't make as huge a mark as I was maybe expecting it and wanted it to make on me. I like all the elements of this. I expected to like it more than I do. So I'm giving What If the Real Monster Was the People We Knew All Along 3.5 stars. Do you think there's any point anymore? Like the furries have won. There's no hiding it. There's no stopping them. We might as well retreat into the mountains and just start anew. But subscribe if you'd rather stay and fight the furry curse.